I opened my father's safe expecting one will. But instead I found two. And the second, freshly notarized, perfectly folded, left every acre of his vineyard, every dollar in his estate, every last piece of my childhood legacy. Not to me, his only daughter, but to my husband and my stepbrother. The signature looked like my father's handwriting. But it wasn't his hand. My name is Madison Hale, and if you had told me a year ago that betrayal would come from the two people I trusted the most, I would have laughed. My father, Richard Hale, raised me on a 200-acre vineyard in Northern California. Hale Ridge Estate, our family's crown jewel. I grew up running between the vines, tasting the grapes we harvested every September, and learning every inch of the land my father cherished. My mother died when I was young, and Dad remarried a woman with a son, Evan. He and I never connected, but after Dad's death, the distance became something colder. My husband, Adam Whitlock, was my comfort through all of it. He held me while I cried, helped me manage funeral plans, and assured me we would face everything together. But sometimes the people you trust the most are the ones who walk you closest to the edge, only to push you off themselves. In the weeks after the funeral, the vineyard felt strangely unfamiliar. The workers avoided eye contact, my stepbrother started showing up unannounced, and Adam grew quiet in a way that didn't feel like grief, felt like guilt. Evan wandered through the main house like he owned it, making calls in Dad's old office and locking the door behind him. When I approached, he'd hang up mid-sentence. Adam began holding whispered conversations outside late at night, leaning against the porch rail, speaking far too softly for me to hear, yet the tension in his shoulders was loud. I noticed missing documents in Dad's filing cabinet. Papers about land rights, distribution policies, and old financial audits vanished one by one. When I asked Adam if he'd moved anything, he said no, too quickly, too defensively. Strange people began visiting the vineyard. Lawyers I'd never met, real estate men who eyed the land like it was already on the market. One day, I overheard Evan telling one of the vineyard managers, "Madison won't last running this place. Someone has to step up." The worker looked uncomfortable, but Evan smirked like the land already belonged to him. Still, the real break in my world came one night when I walked past Adam's office and heard him whispering urgently on the phone, "She's getting suspicious. We don't have much time." My heart froze. Suspicious of what? And who was we? The truth detonated inside a law office that smelled of polished wood and stale coffee. Adam insisted we meet with my father's attorney, Mr. Grayson, claiming we needed to finalize paperwork. His hand trembled in mine the entire drive, but he blamed it on stress. When we sat down, Mr. Grayson looked haunted, like he carried a secret too heavy to hold any longer. Then he placed two documents on the table. Two wills. "Madison," he began with a cracked voice, "your father's original will leaves the entire estate to you as expected." He slid it closer. My father's familiar handwriting, his signature I'd traced as a child. His precise wording, everything intact. Then he tapped the second document. But last week, a new will surfaced. This one was different. Clean. Too clean. Dated just 2 months before Dad's passing. My eyes scanned the lines, heart pounding harder with each sentence. The vineyard. Left to Adam and Evan as equal partners. Bank accounts. New names. The Hale Foundation. Redirected under there. Management. "That's impossible," I whispered. "My father couldn't, he wouldn't." Mr. Grayson exhaled. "Madison, the signature on this second will is not your father's." My breath hitched. I turned to Adam. His face fell apart. Tears flooded his eyes, spilling over, but not from innocence, from being caught. "Adam," I whispered, "tell me you didn't." He swallowed hard. "Madison, please let me explain." "Explain." Snap. "Explain how you and my stepbrother forged my father's signature. Explain how you tried to steal everything he spent his life building. Explain why you stabbed me in the back while pretending to comfort me." Evan leaned back smugly. "Your father wasn't thinking straight at the end. Someone needed to protect the estate from you." My voice shook with rage. Protect it. By stealing it. Adam wiped his eyes, reaching for my hand. I thought you'd be relieved if I took the pressure off you. I was trying to provide for us. Evan said. Don't you dare blame him, I said through clenched teeth. You chose this. You lied to me. You betrayed my father. You betrayed everything he trusted you with. Adam broke down. Evan stayed stone cold. And in that moment I realized one thing. My father's death didn't break me. Their betrayal did. Everything spiraled the moment we stepped outside the office. Adam chased me through the parking lot, begging me to listen, to give him a chance to explain the full story, but I kept walking. He grabbed my arm and I yanked it away. You don't get to touch me, I said quietly. Not anymore. Back at the vineyard, Evan stormed into the house demanding to discuss next steps, like the estate already belonged to him. You're not winning this, Madison, he hissed. You're not strong enough to run this place. I stepped toward him. I am my father's daughter. This land trusted me long before you ever stepped foot on it. Adam tried to mediate, but every word he spoke made it worse. Madison, please, this got out of hand. We were going to tell you everything after the transition. Transition? I repeated. You mean after you stole everything? Evan scoffed. Don't be dramatic. I turned to Adam. How long have you been planning this? His silence was the answer. Before my father died. Silence. Before he got sick. Silence. And then the worst realization hit me. This all started when he went into the hospital, didn't it? Adam's face told me everything I needed to know. The betrayal wasn't an accident. It was a plan. A long, calculated plan. That night, I left the main house and moved into the small cottage my father built for me when I was a child. Adam stood in the doorway crying, begging me not to go. But I walked away. I didn't cry. Not then. Not until the door closed behind me and the weight of betrayal finally crushed my lungs. A week later, Mr. Grayson called me privately. When I entered his office, he slid a thick red folder toward me. Your father added a rare clause to his estate plan, he said. One he asked me to keep confidential unless things went wrong. My pulse quickened. He opened the folder. If at any point the rightful heir believes the estate has been compromised through manipulation, coercion, or fraud, she may dissolve all roles of any party involved, removing them permanently from the inheritance. I stared at him. You mean I can remove both Adam and Evan completely, he finished. Within 48 hours. My breath caught in my throat. But if I do, there's no going back. Your father trusted you to protect his legacy, Mr. Grayson said softly. This clause is his final message. A wave of emotions washed over me. Grief, love, betrayal, fury, exhaustion, all swirling in one painful storm. But beneath it, one truth rose above everything. My father believed in me, even after death. And I would not let him down. Do it, I whispered. Invoke the clause. Mr. Grayson nodded with relief. It will be done. The legal war that followed was brutal. Evan fought viciously, claiming the vineyard belonged to him by blood. He wasn't even related to my father. Adam tried everything: letters, calls, apology messages, begging to meet, begging to talk, begging for forgiveness he didn't deserve. I ignored every attempt. He cried outside the cottage one night, whispering through the door. I ruined everything. I ruined the one person who loved me. But sorrow doesn't erase betrayal. Eventually the clause was executed. Evan was stripped of all rights to the estate. Adam lost everything. His access, his financial claims, his title, his position. Both were legally removed permanently. Evan moved out of state. Adam moved in with a friend. And I stayed right where I belonged, on the land my father trusted me with. Healing wasn't quick. The first weeks were a blur of paperwork and empty rooms echoing with memories. But the vineyard, the land, pulled me back to life. I walked the vines barefoot in the mornings, touching the leaves, breathing the air my father loved. Workers who had known him for decades came to me saying, he'd be proud, and their words rebuilt me piece by piece. Slowly, painfully, beautifully, I began reclaiming my place. Not as a widow, not as a victim, but as the rightful heir of Hale Ridge Estate. My father's daughter. The vineyard flourished again. And so did I. In the end. Money didn't change me, only the people around me. And sometimes the deepest betrayal isn't losing what you have, it's realizing who you never truly had. Tell me what you would have done. And don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe to help Reddit Diaries reach 1,000 subscribers.